Hey, farmers, Corey Morris, AgriEdge Specialist in central Nebraska, with another just interesting article in a way that LandDB makes your day easier. In the Successful Farming magazine, there was a great article last month, 5 financial steps to take this month. 5 things. Number 1, write a summary of what happened on your farm this growing season. This helps you think through decisions. 2, update your operating budget. Compare what you plan to spend for seed, fertilizer, etc., and what you actually paid, and then make adjustments based on what actually happened. With adjusted break-even, review and update your marketing plans. Have you locked in higher prices? Number 4, update your financial projections. In addition to cash flow and income statement, update balance sheet projections. And number 5, use the updated information to have constructive conversations with trusted advisors. LandDB does all of this for you almost automatically. If you're keeping records of what you're doing, which you are, I haven't yet met a farmer who doesn't keep records. Usually they're on a pad or paper, or they're in the combine, or they're somewhere. There's a record somewhere. If it's getting into LandDB, whether through our great mobile app or whether through our integrations or sitting down at the computer, if it's getting into their system, you can sit down and go through these 5 steps in a half hour, making those adjustments because the information will already be there. So I'm going to kind of walk through each of these and how LandDB helps you. This is not moving exactly like I wanted to. There we go. So what happened on your farm this season? Okay, so I'm going to bring in my LandDB database. Okay, so we've got here my main screen, and I want to know what happened on a farm. So we're going to just take this farm, for instance, and we can get a summary. It's got all my revenues in it too, but we'll click on just the applications. I can see every single application that happened to that field, which is just kind of a lot of information. It doesn't tell me a lot other than a lot happened. But this summary tab tells me, okay, what did I plant? Did I plant what I expected to plant? Because that this year changed a lot. How much fertilizer did I get out? I talked with a farmer recently that the fertilizer he thought he had on the field was not the fertilizer that actually happened. Okay, so how much fertilizer did we get on, and what did we actually spend to that? Did we run out of prepay? Do we still have prepay on the books? What are we spending for all of our inputs? Okay. And this is our break-even yield, but this is here as of the end of the year. Okay, so we can see where that field is at as of right now. Okay, another really cool thing to find out, okay, but how does that compare with what we thought would happen? Farming, just like with everything else, you set a plan and then reality smacks you in the face. I think it was Mike Tyson that said, everybody's got a plan until somebody punches him in the mouth. May not have been him, but I think it's a great quote. So if you come here to the analysis tab, if you've done a plan with your AgriEdge Specialist or with your AgriEdge partner or your local retailer, let's click on this Eddy corn. Here I've got my variance. These are all of my plans. This plan is assigned to that field. And I can say, this is how I planned on spending my money, pre-plant, planting, growing time period, and harvest. And so far, this is how I've actually spent it. Pre-plant, planting, and growing. So I spent way more at planting time than I would have expected. Okay, so then we can compare product category of planned versus actual. Here's what I planned to spend on crop protection, about 11 grand for this field, and I actually ended up spending 17 grand. Okay, it's 155%. My fertilizer, I planned on 15,000, but I spent 18,000. Maybe it all washed out and I had to put some more out. My seed, 17,000, but I ended up spending 19,000. The seed that they wanted to get me was just more expensive. I had to switch out or whatever it was. My services just through the roof. I just spent a lot more on that than what I had budgeted. Okay, and this is just really important because then you can see what actually changed. How much impact did it really have going from that hybrid to that hybrid, or having to go with less fertilizer up front and doing it in season? What did that really do to my cost structure? Not what do I think it did, what did it actually do? Also, this really helps with the conversation with the banker. Hey, we got to have, we're going to be taking out some more money, or, hey, my numbers are going to look different at the end of the year because we had to spend more here. We did an event with bankers in Kansas, and they said their number one frustration was not knowing where the operation was at during the year, and it just being a surprise conversation at the end. Again, if the data is getting into LandDB, whether through the great app, whether through the integrations with other software, or whether you're having somebody put it in for you, just recording what you're already doing in the operation, you'll be able to pull these reports up and instantly know that stuff. Where are we at? We can even change plans and say, okay, I went back to production. Sorry, I shouldn't jump around. Went back to production, clicked on plans. I can come here and I can say, you know what? I was planning on 250 bushels, but it's not been a great year. So we're only going to get 200 bushels, but I marketed some at 385 because I was just on top of it. Come down here, we print this plan and come down to the bottom, and now we have an updated break-even price. Hey, I can cover my variable costs for $3.33 if I hit that 200 bushel mark. I got to sell it for $3.33, which is great. I should be fine. But my variable costs. But if I'm selling for $3.85, I really only need 173 bushels. So if I'm locked in a price at $3.85 and I locked in 180 bushels an acre, I know that I'm covered. I've covered the costs for this field. Everything else can be a profitable sale. Okay. No matter what number it's at 325, I'm still making money because I've covered all my fixed costs. Okay. So, or all my variable costs on that one. I would need to sell 189 bushels at 385 per acre to cover my variable and my fixed costs. But this is just such a powerful tool that is already updating as you're working in the field. If you are just taking those records in the system or moving them to the system regularly, whether that's a son or anybody else, your records are already up to date. You can get that information now. So you know what your break-even cost is now. And you can start making those decisions on things. So LandDB is great for that. You can see if it covers, if I hit all the dots. We can update our financial projections. I didn't get into that spreadsheet that you can pull out, but you can pull stuff out of that. You can use those numbers per field to update your whole cash flow and income statement, and very, very quickly. And then you can have that conversation with your trusted advisors. Where are we actually at? Hey, why did that fertilizer end up on that field and not this field? Is there anything we can do about it? And if we're keeping track of those records as they happen, we can fix it we can catch it in time. Catching a missed fertilizer application now doesn't do anybody any good, but back in May or June it would have. So LandDB is a great tool for making these kinds of things that are just a nightmare to try to get together all those records and put them in a format that's useful in season when you need to make decisions. LandDB pulls all that together for you when you need it. So just very exciting. Glad we could be of help for making it easier to farm. There's just a lot of headwinds, and anything we can do just makes it better. So thanks for your time, and good luck out there.